Okay, let's just talk. I know how rough it is right now. Believe me, this isn't going to be another one of those stiff financial reports. I've been right here with you, in the trenches, for years. I know exactly how this feels. This was never just about numbers on a screen. It's our story. So let's just be real for a minute. Let's talk about where we are, what we're really up against, and why on earth so many of us are still holding the line. And yeah, this is where we are. $2.59. Just look at that for a second. That number stings. It's nowhere near what we hoped for, what we thought was possible. When you're in this for the long haul, you get good at tuning out the noise. But let's not pretend this doesn't hurt. It does. Because this is the honest-to-God truth of it all. The emotions are absolutely boiling over. If you're here listening to this, you get it. The frustration, the anger, just the confusion of it all. It's something we're all feeling together. And that's exactly why we have to look at the entire picture, the good, the bad, and the really, really ugly. All right, so let's get into it. Before all the market craziness and all the drama, let's rewind. Why did we even get into this trade? Because under everything, under all that noise, there really is a solid, fundamental reason to believe in this company. And hey, it's not just us screaming into the void. Look at this. AMC recently got a strong buy rating from Zacks, the big-time investment research firm. That's literally the best rating they can give a stock. It means the pros, the suits, are looking at the numbers and expecting the company to crush its earnings estimates. That's a huge piece of validation right there. And this chart shows you exactly why they're saying that. This is the earnings per share forecast. Basically, is the company making or losing money? And look at that trend line. It's crawling its way up, from way down on the red, getting closer and closer to that break-even point. That shows a real clear path to actually being a profitable company again. And a profitable company has value. That's the long-term play we all signed up for. But then there's the other side of this whole thing, the elephant in the room. The thing that's made so many of us so damn angry, and that's the feeling that maybe, just maybe, we can't trust the very people running the company we're all fighting for. This tweet, man, it just says it all, doesn't it? It captures that raw feeling of betrayal, accusing the CEO and the board of fraud, of massive insider selling. It's angry, yeah, but it comes from a real place. We're out here holding, buying what we can, and what are they doing? And here's the data that pours gasoline on that fire. An insider activity score of 4.9 out of 100. That's just awful. The CEO selling over $3.2 million worth of stock. A buy-to-sell ratio of just 25%. I mean, as an investor holding on for dear life through all of this, seeing these numbers, it's a gut punch. How are you supposed to feel when you see that? And then you see this number, $25 million. That's the CEO's compensation. You put that number next to the stock price we've had to stomach and, well, it just doesn't sit right. It's no wonder trust has been completely shattered. So if the company's getting healthier, but we feel like we're being sold out from the top, what else is going on? Well, this gets us to the absolute heart of the whole movement. The beliefs that we're not just playing the market, we're fighting a game that's been rigged from the start. And the main battlefield is something called dark pools. Now, for anybody who isn't deep in the weeds on this, they're basically secret stock markets. They're private. It's where the big hedge funds and institutions can trade enormous amounts of shares without anyone seeing them and without affecting the price you and I see. At least that's the idea. Now, get a load of this. It's criminal. Somewhere between 60 and 70% of all trades for AMC stock happen in these hidden dark pools. Let that sink in. So all of us, we're buying on the open market, putting that buy pressure on, which is supposed to make the price go up. But if most of the action is being routed into the dark, our buying power just disappears. It gets smothered. It feels like straight up manipulation, because it is. And look, it's not just an AMC problem. Check out GameStop, same exact playbook. 50 to 60% of their trades are in the dark, too. This is a systemic issue. It's happening to the stocks that regular people, that we, have decided to believe in. So with all this stuff stacked against us, why are we still here? Why are we holding? It all comes down to one thing. The theory. The prophecy. That glimmer of hope that started this whole thing and keeps it alive.
the belief in the mother of all short squeezes.
Now, you got to take this kind of analysis with a giant grain of salt, right? Charting a stock like this is more art than science, but you have to see what people are hoping for, what they're seeing in the patterns. A 2,000% rally, it sounds nuts, but man, it also sounds like the dream that we're all holding on for.
So the logic, if you want to call it that, behind these huge predictions is all about cycles. The theory is that the way the stock is moving now, it's showing the same patterns, the same fingerprints as it did right before that massive run-up in 2021. People who believe in this see history getting ready to repeat itself, but this time on a whole different level.
And the final push we're all waiting for might not even come from AMC itself. It might come from the entire financial system, which, if you're paying attention, is starting to look really shaky. So what is this? This is how much money the Federal Reserve just had to pump into the banks overnight, $29.4 billion. They call it a repo operation. It's basically an emergency loan to keep the system liquid. And when you see a sudden spike like that, it's a huge warning sign that things are really stressed out behind the scenes.
So why should we care? Because when the banks start to sweat, they get scared. And when they get scared, they start picking up the phone and making margin calls. They could be forced to call in the loans they made to the hedge funds that are shorting our stock. And that is the trigger. That's the first domino that could set this whole thing off. So that's it. That's where we stand. We're caught in this final standoff. We've got all these different forces pulling us in every direction, every single day. We all know this is a gamble, but let's just lay out what this fight really looks like. We are standing at a crossroads. On one hand, the company is actually getting stronger. That's amazing. On the other hand, our trust in the people running it is completely broken. But that squeeze theory, our big hope, it's still there. And the whole market is unstable, which could be the very thing that lights the fuse. But for me, and I gotta think for a lot of you too, I'm holding for something more than just a squeeze. I'm betting on the actual company. I'm betting on the comeback of cinema. On that feeling of sitting in a dark theater with a bucket of popcorn. I actually believe in that. And that's the question that's left, isn't it? Is this the greatest comeback story ever? Or are we just suckers in a rigged game? The final chapter hasn't been written yet. Do your own homework, know why you're here, and you make your own call. Thanks for listening.